So I am assuming that everybody that's watching this video has watched Scooby-Doo at some point or has at least heard of Scooby-Doo. I don't know if it's still running now, but it was really big when I was a kid. And so one of the characters in Scooby-Doo, her name's Velma. And in a new game called Multiversus, Velma has a special move where I think she calls the police.
You're in big trouble now.
Match point.
Now, what's happened is they've removed this ability for Velma to call the police. Do you want to take a guess why they removed the ability?
Well, from what I can see is because she's being called a Karen, because she's been a snitch.
This has become a problem because there are black characters in Multiversus, like LeBron James. And according to the Washington Post, it doesn't look good that Velma, a white woman, is calling the police on a black man. Honestly, I think we have lost touch with reality.
Was she a Karen in the show, Scooby-Doo?
No, she was the smart girl. She was, so
She does strike me as one, though.
No, she's not. Velma was not. You put some respect on Velma's name. Velma was not the Karen. Everyone liked Velma. Velma was cool. Velma was like the girl that you take home to mum. Daphne was like the girl that you fool around with. I guess Fred was with Daphne, and Velma was just kind of there. No one has a problem with Velma. Certainly didn't have a problem with Velma calling the police when I played Multiversus. Fine, it's not a problem. She calls the police on everyone in the game.
That's what I'm saying, is they're not white characters that she calls the police on as well.
Yeah, she calls the police on white characters.
Yeah.
Now they've changed the game. Velma has been stripped of her police calling powers. Instead, the mystery squad responds in their van and takes away Velma's adversaries. So she calls Scooby-Doo and the gang and they take them away. Even though I'm pretty sure at the end of Scooby-Doo episodes, when they would unmask the villain, the police would take them away, right?
Yeah, it's still basically the same thing, though.
Yeah, but it's the notion behind it. Nobody was offended that LeBron James was being arrested by the police. It's just a special move. I know it's not that deep. If there's genuinely anyone out there that was offended, I guarantee you they're not black. Guarantee you. My friends play this and they're all black, and I did not hear this complaint once. I didn't hear them say, "Oh, Velma's called the police on LeBron." Can't have that. Who thinks like that?
Yeah, it's being too dissected, I think, and just looked too deep into.
Apparently some players, although I'm willing to bet it was not gamers that criticized this, some players apparently criticized Scooby-Doo's character's move for being tone deaf to ongoing concerns about police brutality, as well as instances in which black people doing ordinary activities such as watering flowers, barbecuing, or requesting that a dog be leashed have the police called on them. Yeah, except Multiverse is a fighting game. So LeBron James is actually throwing people off cliffs and punching them. So it's actually fair to call the police on him within the confines of the game if we're using that logic. He's not watering the plants or barbecuing, I assume, in the middle of a fight. He's dunking people off a stage. So Velma's well within her rights to call the police.
Yeah, this is the issue, because you know what? If every character in the show was blue, it's the same concept is happening. The police is being called on a bad character in a game, and that's it.
There is a black dude here. There's, I think, his AVI. He says that he's black. He says, "I am enjoying Velma in Multiversus, but maining a character whose special move is calling the police on her enemies definitely doesn't sit right with me as a black man." Dude, grow some balls. Grow up. It's a game. You cannot be that serious.
But it's a game, but also as well, she's just calling the police. Regardless of who she's calling it on, it's just a game and she's calling the police, and that's it.
I think the developers should have told the people that were complaining about this to get a life. And if you don't want to play the game, go play Smash Brothers or something. For people to get offended that Velma calls the police on the characters, even though that's what they do in the show, they call the police when they catch the bad guys. You have to understand that you live in such a time and place of privilege to even get offended by that. To even have the time to get offended by a video game character calling the police.
I just think that people always have something to say and will always try and find a problem within something. I just think like you could go and you could bake cakes for everyone in the world, but then somebody will find something bad about baking cakes.
Maybe your cake shit.
No, like they were like, "Oh, that's unfair that you bake cakes because this person's diabetic. They can't eat it. That's very unthoughtful of you."
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And it's like you
just
can't do anything without somebody trying to find a problem within something.
That's all I really got to say about that. Like calling Velma a Karen, like guys, come on. Don't ruin everything. Multiverse is a fun game. There was no need to get this removed with a flipping petition. Like, how sad have you got to be? You have to understand the level of privilege that you live in to complain about something like that. You've got to know that. You really think guys from Africa, people out in Uganda and Nigeria and Ghana and all that, you think if they got to sit down and play the PS5 and turn on Multiverses that they're going to get offended that you called the police? I wonder if LeBron was genuinely offended by this.
I highly doubt it.
Yeah, this is just nonsense. Disappointed in Warner Bros. For caving, but what do you expect these days?
Everyone's got to do something to make everybody feel like they're being heard, I suppose, because it seems like anytime people express any sort of issue of something, everyone just caves into it, no matter what the issue is.
Yeah, just people just grow a fucking backbone. It's not that hard. It has nothing to do with real world police brutality.